talk sports.
We are the Fourth. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from Miami and Marlins Park, where the roof is closed, game number 3, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Miami Marlins. Jim Hayes is here. That's Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. Good matchup tonight in terms of pitching. Let's talk a little bit about the Cardinals starter, John Gant. Has that unique changeup, and when right, he can be very good.
He calls it the Vulcan change. Now, most pitchers split 2 fingers when they throw a splitter. Well, John Gant splits 4 fingers to throw the splitter, as you can see. The index finger and the middle finger and the ring finger and the pinky are split by Gant for effectiveness.
And at times, he's been very effective this year, whether it be in the rotation or the bullpen. It's been a homecoming for Marcell Ozuna. Big night in Game 2 for the Cards. Does it carry over? Game 3 coming up. Budweiser, wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Staples, the back-to-school specialty store. Roof is closed tonight. We're in sunny Miami, Florida. Beautiful outside. Baseball inside. Game 3 next. Two teams will meet this year. We're in Miami. Beautiful setting. Take a vacation, then you come down, you go from the beach to the ballpark, and you get a chance to take in a little baseball. Along with Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Roof closed. It's 76 degrees, and Mike Schild has his club playing well.
Looking for their 4th straight series win. And if they win tonight, that'll be the case.
His lineup: Matt Carpenter with home run number 30 last night. Then Yadier Molina. Jose Martinez again in right field. Marcell Ozuna. Paul DeJong, a big 2-run homer in Game 2. Jairo Munoz at third base. Colton Wong at second. Major League debut for Adolis Garcia in center field. And John Gant, the pitcher, batting 9th. Trevor Richards has pitched extremely well over his last 4 starts. As a matter of fact, Tim, just 2 runs in his last 23 2/3 coming into play tonight.
Worked against the Cardinals and the loser, working 5 innings in St. Louis earlier this year, back in June.
Here's Carpenter and a strike, and we're underway. I'm sure some nerves for that young man, 25-year-old Adolis Garcia. And another debut tonight. Cardinals have had a bunch of those over the last 2 years.
How about this year alone?
7th player to make his debut with St. Louis tonight.
Unbelievable.
Those numbers unbelievable for Matt Carpenter.
I mean, how in the world can the Cardinals stay in it that long? But they've done it. 4 games over 500. That was a changeup.
And I'm going to say he went, and a strikeout of Carpenter. He can't believe it.
I think he went too far. The Cardinals had a taste of this changeup, and he'll throw it often. He thinks it's the best pitch in the game, other than a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Did Matt go too far? No, it's close.
Here's Yadier Molina batting .282. Pulled foul. Richards, an interesting story, signed as a minor league free agent in 2016 out of Drury University, which is located in Springfield, Missouri. Last year's split time with single and double A. He was their pitcher of the year, and Molina cranks one out to deep left. Dietrich back at the wall, and it's 1-0. Solo home run, Yadier Molina, number 15.
That is Yadier Molina's happy zone. That ball down in the strike zone. He's almost like a left-handed hitter in that regard. Loves the ball down and in. He's been frustrated the last 2 nights. No frustration there, though. Here it is, a fastball at 91 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour. It went out faster than it came in.
Here's Jose Martinez. There's a strike. I mentioned that the Cardinals faced Richards in June. It was June 7th. 3 runs over 5 innings. And Jose Martinez that night had a home run, a 2-run shot.
In the first inning.
Pulls it foul. So the minor league player of the year for the Marlins, Richards, after spending time with the Gateway Grizzlies in independent ball. Marlins took a flyer on him, and it's paid off.
Dan, when you think about it, the Gateway Grizzlies play in St. Louis, and about 290 miles away are the Memphis Grizzlies, the basketball team in the NBA.
Not too far away.
Not too many Grizzlies from Memphis to St. Louis, though.
No, sir. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Martinez, and he struck him out. So 2 outs, both via the strikeout, and the batter will be Marcell Ozuna. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Dietrich, Sierra, Anderson in the outfield. Prado, Rojas, Castro, and Bohr along the infield, and JT Realmuto is behind the plate.
2 changeups for strikeouts here in the first inning. 1 to Matt Carpenter, 1 to Jose Martinez. I think you've got to sit on that pitch. Throws it 65% of the time.
Marcell Ozuna, there's the changeup there. 5 for 8 in the series. All 5 hits have been singles, and that really represents what his season has been like, too.
And that's very well put and true.
The 0-1. First ball that he's thrown in 11 pitches here in the top of the first. Cardinals came back late last night. 2-run homer by DeYoung. Then the Carpenter home run, and that is caught by Castro going out into shallow center field. Speaking of homers, number 15 hit by Yadier Molina. He'll be behind the plate for John Gant. Another young arm takes the bump for St. Louis. 1-0. home run number 15. He's now driven in 49, and the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead. John Gant, his 17th appearance and 10th start of the year, filling in for Michael Wacha. Sometimes you get a really good John Gant. Other times you get a guy that'll give you, 3 to 5 innings, and then after that you piggyback and try to pick up the innings out of the pen.
The one thing with which he must be wary is the base on balls, falling behind early in the count. A Vulcan change will work when you're ahead, but not when you're behind. They're a little more selective with that, are the hitters.
Here's Derek Dietrich. First pitch, flied out to deep left. Ozuna going back on the track and makes the catch. First man retired, that's Dietrich. A look at Don Mattingly's lineup. Brian Anderson will dig in, then JT Realmuto, Justin Boers, Starlin Castro, Martin Prado, Miguel Rojas, Magneuris Sierra, the former Cardinal, and Trevor Richards batting ninth. Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly. So much teaching being done with a young nucleus of players that they have here. That includes Brian Anderson, who just might be the Rookie of the Year in the National League. Juan Soto may play a part in that decision, the 19-year-old with Washington. Anderson, a third baseman, but has been moved to right field. He's played both at the big league level. And a grounder hit softly to short. DeYoung up with it, and that's out number 2. Cardinals defense around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Marcell Ozuna, Adolis Garcia, and Jose Martinez. Munoz, DeYoung, Wong, and Carpenter on the infield. Molina behind the plate.
3 pitches and 2 outs for Gant.
A scouting report on Adolis Garcia. He can run and a cannon for an arm and can play all 3 outfield positions that report defensively, offensively, power, speed. It's a matter, though, of him making contact. Not a lot of walks, high strikeout rate, but an exciting young player.
Not too many 5-tool young players in the major leagues, but he has them. Now, whether he develops them is another story. We'll see.
1 ball and 1 strike. Realmuto hitting .294, 14 home runs, driven in 53. Another one of those guys that is a converted shortstop to catcher. All-star this year for the Marlins.
He's a good player.
Sure is. Been a lot of talk about trading him, but you would think this is a guy you build around.
Depends on who you get.
Yeah. A swing and a miss and a strikeout for John Gant. Coming up, Paul DeYoung, Jairo Munoz, and Colton Wong. DeYoung, a change in his stance with his hands. It paid off last night. over the wall in left field. It tied the game up at 2. Arcia drive to success. The Cardinals shortstop. This series 3 for 7. Sometimes that slightest of change in a stance, Tim, as you know, can make all the difference in the world.
Yep. Seen it with Colton Wong, who's having a better second half. Bringing those hands up, staying above the high fastball. Ron Fairley used to put it quite susceptibly and briefly when he said, you hold your hands at the top of the strike zone, and anything above your hands you don't swing at. It simplifies it. It's what you try to do. It doesn't matter where you start. Look at Stan Musial's stance. Peekaboo.
Good way to put it.
Till the ball was about 10 feet away.
Mark Budaska, one of the hitting coaches, along with George Greer, new faces in that Cardinal dugout. As DeYoung hits one a mile high into shallow right. And the catch is made. Starlin Castro. So 1 out, and it brings in Jairo Munoz. Enhance your next game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets, enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. We're talking with Mike Schilt in his office before the game about Jairo Munoz. He said, I don't feel at all out of place putting him anywhere defensively. He said, I think his best outfield position is center field. We love him in right, which he finished up last night. Said this guy is a good ball player. He smokes one out to left. Dietrich on the move over his head. One hops off the wall. And Munoz trotting into second base with a 1-out double.
That was not a good route by Dietrich. He ran to where he thought the ball was coming down straight toward the center fielder and then had to take a left. Routes are very, very important. The idea, of course, as you can see, that's pretty clear that he went over and then back as opposed to going over and back. But routes very, very similar for bad outfielders and similar for good outfielders too. Very important to cut down on the footsteps. I don't know what to call that.
Little pitter patter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I'm going to do it now. Are you in with that?
Yes.
You're in.
Yes, it's better than what I just said.
There's a ball to Colton Wong. And Wong, you've talked about it a lot, where his hands are and sometimes how he lays the bat. The 1-0. I think one thing you have to be very impressed about the Cardinals here recently, impressed with, is the offense, the lack of strikeouts, the fact that they're putting the ball in play, the movement used by Mike Schilt. I mean, this is a different offensive club than the one we've seen. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Munoz running and a throw to third. Now in a rundown. He'll be tagged out. So Richards picks off Jairo Munoz.
So you can fake to second or third, but he didn't step off immediately. He stepped off after his leg was moving. But with the left-handed batter up there, even though it's the bottom of the order, you want to be sure. You're already in scoring position. Of course, it's easier to score from third with less than 2 outs than it is from second.
3-1 the count. And Adolis Garcia at the on-deck circle. A lot of fans excited about that young man. Full count on Wong. What a month of July he's coming off of as well. Garcia was named the Cardinals minor league player of the month. He had 10 home runs in July and hit .354 in just 25 games. And a chance to play every day. Cardinals with the so many outfielders that they've had. Some have been traded away. Some are up here. Wong pops it up, and that'll find the seats out of play.
Well, it's amazing how the season began and the bevy of good outfielders in the Cardinals system. Remarkable.
And more coming.
Yeah.
Lane Thomas, who was just called up to AAA, is what has been referred to as Bader 2.0. Another guy that just hustles, scrappy. And there's the 2-out walk, and now we get a chance to see Adolis Garcia. Here it was in AAA. Some of his highlights. He signed as an international free agent for $2.5 million. He's the younger brother of Adolis Garcia, who was a third baseman with the Braves, you may recall. And as we found out, he played with Miles Mikolas over in Japan. And you talked to Miles about him.
For 4 games. He was 0 for 7 playing with the Yomiuri Giants. Miles was with them for 3 straight years. And Garcia joined Miles and was with their training camp. In Japan, they have, instead of AAA ball, they don't have the minor league system like they do in the United States, but they do have areas and fitness training centers where they continually keep young players ready to play the game.
In the hole, 0-2, and his first at bat in the big leagues, and rips one foul. We saw Garcia play a lot in spring training, and Randy Arozarena. As is the case for a lot of teams, Cardinals will have the regulars play 4 or 5 innings, and then you see the next wave of talent come in and play a lot of games, and that was Adolis Garcia. 0-2 pitch. A little bit low.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Close pitch.
Two and 2.
Two straight fastballs from Richards. I would imagine one of the next 2 pitches is going to be a changeup with the pitcher up next.
Check on Colton Wong. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Adolis Garcia.
Changeup.
Had him out in front, struck him out. 3rd strikeout for Trevor Richards. Cardinals strand a runner, and it's 1-0. Go. Fox Sports Go, and you can watch the Cardinals on your favorite supported devices. Justin Bohr will lead it off. We were talking about the Cardinals shortstop Paul DeJong changing his hands a bit. Jim Hayes, what's happened?
Yeah, as you pointed out, sometimes a small adjustment at the plate can pay big dividends. That's the case for Paul DeJong. Paul told me Harrison Bader pointed out something, and he checked the video and found Bader was right. He was holding his hands too high. DeJong told me, coming off the DL, I kind of lost the feel for my swing. My hands kept drifting higher and higher. That made it tough to handle certain pitches. Paul says keeping his hands lower puts his shoulders in a more relaxed position, so his swing is more natural. Dan, we've seen evidence the last couple of games that Harrison Bader was onto something.
Absolutely. It was a base hit to right 2 nights ago. Final plate appearance for DeJong, and then we saw last night his key home run. Here's Justin Bohr, 19 home runs. The shift on for Bohr. Cardinals making a move today in terms of moving up a player. Nolan Gorman, high school kid, drafted, only the 6th prep first-round pick to make it to low Class A in his draft year in the past decade. He's already been moved up. That's how impressive he's been. That's exciting. 3-0 on Justin Bohr.
Bohr may be swinging here. Nope.
Three and 2. Bohr, a Rule 5 pickup from the Chicago Cubs in 2013. Just missed on the inside corner, and a leadoff walk issued by Gant.
The one thing that John Gant does not have, he doesn't have a real good curveball. That would introduce another pitch to his repertoire. Throws hard enough, about 95, sometimes 96. Not how hard you throw the fastball, it's where you put it.
There's Starlin Castro, homered in Game 1. Longtime Chicago Cub shortstop, and then with the Yankees, and now here with the Marlins, part of the Stanton deal. Ground ball hit to DeJong. Out there, the turn by Wong, throw up the line a little bit as he rushed it, and Castro is aboard.
Justin Bohr was late sliding at second base, and that's what made Wong throw the ball toward the home plate side of first base.
Martin Prado coming up. This is StatCast AI powered by AWS. The catch made by Harrison Bader last night, if you missed it, taking a hit away from Prado. Hitting .229 on the year. Shade him a bit the other way. And a base hit into right field. Castro on his way to third. Throw is cut off. And runners at the corners now for the Marlins.
You learn from that, going from first to third on a hard hit ball. Starlin Castro taking advantage of Jose Martinez in right field, not experienced. Castro making it to third easily with 1 out. That's the time you think third base. He did, and it worked.
the shortstop, Miguel Rojas. JT Riddle on the bench tonight. So Riddle from the left side on their bench. They've got Rivera, Holiday, and Galloway from the right side. Showing bunt. Eighth place hitter Sierra at the on-deck circle.
Now, if that's a safety squeeze, it's one thing. But when you're bunting on your own, which I think he was, I don't think that's a very good play. Rojas with good speed. He's tough to double. He can hit he's got good power. Fly ball to the outfield scores the run.
A changeup inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
John Gant falling behind Bohr, and now he's falling behind Miguel Rojas.
To know the count. Three and 0. Now you got Sierra on deck and then the pitcher's spot. 3 balls, no strikes. Miguel Rojas. Inning started with a walk, then a fielder's choice, a single to right, runners at the corners. Rojas has got the green light, you would think, and he did. Tim, you're talking about that slide of Justin Bohr at second base. It's kind of a part of the game you don't see all that much anymore, where a runner will try to take out the man turning the double play. You just don't see it that often. That one was clean. You can see Wong rushed it just a bit.
Are you penalized for sliding late, sliding too hard at second base?
Three balls and a strike. Line to short and over to Young and into left center field. The game is tied at 1 on a base hit by Rojas. A pitch that was up and it drives in Castro. 1-1 our score.
Not only up, but the count was 3-1. You keep falling behind hitters, they are going to get you. Justin Bohr walked, and now Miguel Rojas on a 3-1 pitch, driving in his 42nd run of the year.
Magneuris Sierra. Opened up last year in the Cardinals system at Palm Beach. That's A ball. 4 different stints with St. Louis. 22 years of age. Magneuris Sierra involved in the deal to bring Marcell Ozuna to the Gateway City.
Hey, it won't go down as an error, but that wide throw by Colton Wong has really cost the Cardinals at least 1 run right here. You complete that double play and the whole inning changes.
And the 0-1. Line to Carpenter and a second safe.
Good fast throw by Matt Carpenter. DeYoung was there. fastball hit fairly well. Carpenter immediately threw to second. Good base running by Prado. Prado's a good player all the way around. Knows how to play the game.
The pitcher's spot, Trevor Richards. He's 2 for 20 this season. So runners at first and second. Ground ball hits softly to first, and Carpenter will take it himself. Marlins strand a pair, but they pick up an RBI single from Rojas, and it's 1-1. Key to the game.
This is the Cardinals' September. Right now, even though it's August, they have to play at an accelerated rate if they expect to make the postseason. So a sense of urgency, you bet, for Mike Schilt and the Cardinals.
4 games out in the wild card. In the Central Division, 7.5 games back. Milwaukee now 2.5 back of Chicago. It's Pop Warner there, added to the staff, and Mark Budaska, hitting coach George Greer. John Gant 0 for 18. Leads it off here in the 3rd inning, followed by Carpenter and Molina. 1-1 our score. Off day tomorrow for the club. They'll fly out to Kansas City later tonight. Get back to the Midwest. Austin Gomber will pitch Friday night against the Royals.
But a different type of excitement for the Cardinals this year, seeing the young pitching staff chances to break into the major leagues. Austin Gomber's one of the fine young starters the Cardinals have, part of that bevy of players that has come from Memphis.
The 2-1 put in play to short. 1 down. Kubota power stats as a leadoff hitter, the numbers don't lie. Matt Carpenter, one of the best in all of baseball. We were in Mike Schilt's office talking to him before the game about this. Have you entertained it? Do you think about dropping him in the lineup? He said, no, sir. Numbers don't lie.
The evidence is too compelling and too true and pervasive with Matt Carpenter. This year, he's hit 50 points higher, about 52 points higher than in any other spot. So why mess with him? And he doesn't want to be messed with. So the evidence is there. You can make all the, well, you're moving to third, he's in an RBI situation. Not necessarily.
He's got 30 home runs. 26 of those have come with the bases empty. 4 with runners on. And that's where the argument would be on the flip side. You said, well, wait a minute now. But a number of those have been leadoff homers too.
Yeah, but you're only guaranteed to lead off once in a game.
Sure. He's got 27 home runs in his last 75 games. Last Cardinals to do that, McGuire, Edmonds, and Pujols. Locked in. Struck out swinging first time up. Told Jim Hayes after the game, Tim, that he's never been in this type of situation. Can't really explain it.
That's what happens when you're going well. When you're going poorly, you can explain every single thing you're doing wrong. When you're going well, you can't explain anything you're doing right.
That's hit out to deep right field. Anderson over on the track and makes the catch. The Nissan drive of the game, a solo home run back in the first, hit by Yadier Molina. The 14th all-time in franchise history with those 141 career home runs.
High for Yadi in home runs back in 2012 when he had 22. The only time he has broken into that 20-plus home run category.
Jim Hayes, would you like to chime in?
I would. Mike Schill was asked before the game if there's a set plan for Yadi to get a day off. He said, we're constantly communicating with Yadi. He's full steam ahead right now. He's in a mode we really like. Schill says he loves that Yadi wants to play every day. He said that's a manager's dream. It's guys like him who set the example. Dan, Yadi is also an example of defying the aging process.
Seems to be that way. 36 and still playing at an elite level. He was 1 year older than any other All-Star this year. One-two pitch.
Another changeup. Get the feeling that Trevor Richards will throw that changeup. We talked about 65% of the time. He's thrown it more than that so far tonight. See a check swing by a good hitter. It's probably the changeup, as that last pitch was.
Two and two. Serves it into right. Going back Anderson to make the catch. 4 in a row and a 1-2-3 inning for Trevor Richards as we move to the bottom of the third. presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Roof closed tonight. It was open in game one. Ball did not travel at all. We noticed a big difference with it. Talking with Jed Jerko as we walked out of the ballpark last night, and he said it was the hardest ball he hit all year. Would have been a 3-run homer, and it died at the track in center.
Yeah, had the roof been open, you've got to wonder whether Matt Carpenter's ball would have been out last night, because it just made it as it was.
2 hits aside in a 1-1 game. Derek Dietrich, top of the lineup for Miami. Hit .221 in the month of July, but he's 9 for his last 23.
Good changeup right there. What Gant tries to do is throw it behind in the count, and fastball counts. Actually, that was a curveball. I beg your pardon. First one he's thrown tonight.
And the 0-2 pitch. Had him out in front. There's the changeup. Popped up. Carpenter will give it a look, and it's out of play. Mention your key to the game. Act like this is September. You have to push here in the month of August. The dog days, really tough months for a lot of teams, a lot of players. And we talked to the Cardinal players, and they have been energized here recently.
Yeah, they really have. You can tell it with the, we talked about the clubhouse and the guys in the clubhouse loose.
Nothing in 2 the count.
None looser than Jose Martinez.
But you got to have that too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He's smiling and talking. 0-2 pitch to Dietrich. The high fly ball, right field. Martinez, and the catch. One out, and Brian Anderson. Mentioned last night from Edmond, Oklahoma.
Sooner born, I'm a Sooner bred, I'll be a Sooner till I'm dead. Rocklahoma, 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 OKU. I went to OU for 1 semester.
You never told me that.
I meant to tell you that.
Huh. But you were signed, though, right out of high school.
After the 1963 season, I went out there. I was 2 weeks late. It was tough. Whenever, in those days, whenever you went to college, you were always 2 weeks late. I went to Memphis State prior to that. At the time, it was Memphis State. It's University of Memphis now. I saw Gale Sayers score 7 touchdowns against the Oklahoma Sooners.
Played at KU.
Greatest game. He was at KU. Greatest game he had ever played. I had a chance to interview him about 10 years ago, 10 or 12. What a wonderful, the best broken field runner ever, in my judgment.
2-1 pitch to Brian Anderson. Training camps have opened up.
That was the year that Bud Wilkinson took Joe Don Looney, kicked him off the team after the Texas game in Dallas.
Many believe that if Mike Shannon would have continued his football career at Mizzou, he would have been a Heisman candidate, if not the Heisman winner. There's a fly ball to Garcia.
Dan Devine said that, as a matter of fact.
And I bring that up because we had a little follow-up thanks to Bob Gibson on Mike Shannon's crossbow.
Bob texted us last night, and he said that, remember, Mike Shannon, they took the crossbow away from him the second day we were there, and then they gave it back when we left. 33 days later.
Oh, boy.
It's when the Cardinals went to Japan in 1968.
It's a shattered bat of Real Muto.
Right off the end. I guess that started in baseball about 30 years ago when the bat companies made the ends of the barrel of the bats shallow. I beg your pardon. It was cupped, and it still is right now. And sometimes when you're fooled on a pitch, as Realmuto was, hit it off the edge of the bat, and it cracks in a way it's never cracked before.
Good changeup will do that. You get out in front.
Yeah, right.
Maybe chase a slider or a curveball, hit it off the end.
Yeah.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Just off the plate. Folks in St. Louis are talking about PGA Championship. I've seen so much coverage of that at Belle Reve Country Club,
and it hasn't even started yet.
And they say the crowds have just been enormous there. And as you know, Tim, having played in St. Louis and covered so much baseball there over the years, it's an unbelievable sports town.
Sure is.
Fans love their Cardinals and their Blues, and they follow the Fighting Illini and Mizzou and St. Louis University, and that one hurt Yadier Molina. Mike Schilt telling us, not sure Yadi's human, but I'll put him in the lineup. Said this guy's been unbelievable. Day after day answering the bell. Good breaking ball, and he struck him out. His 2 strikeouts have been of JT Realmuto. It'll be Martinez, Ozuna, and DeYoung coming up. Eversgerd, Fred Bird, front office executives, and more. The 2019 Cardinals cruise to the Mexican Riviera. Space is limited for this one-of-a-kind fan experience. Autograph sessions, Q&A sessions. Cardinals.com/cruise for info. A lot of that money goes to Cardinals Care, the charitable outreach program of the club.
You and Jim and I were talking about that cruise on the way over today.
I can get you on that cruise if you want to go. Would you like to go?
I'll let you know. All right.
All right. But I can
Don't
work
put
on it
me
for
on
you.
the spot right now. Do I have to tell you now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's not like you're doing basketball games, so I mean.
Oh, now you
got some time.
How do you know?
Well, are you?
I don't know.
You never know, right?
Never know.
You know who wants to go on that cruise?
I have no idea.
Jim Hayes. Big time.
You can handle that. Use your clout.
I'll have to talk to Michael Hall and see if we can't make that happen. The swing and a miss by Martinez. Third, or rather the fourth strikeout tonight for Trevor Richards.
You don't see Jose Martinez strike out twice in a row. He's very good at protecting the plate. A good changeup, however, out of the strike zone gets Jose.
Highest percentage of strikeouts using that changeup, and Richards a good one. The top of that list, and Ozuna chops it fair. Long throw and the out.
Now you can't complain about it now. That call was made by the third base umpire. He called it immediately. I think it went over the bag. It may have landed in foul territory, but it did go over the bag.
It's a good call.
Good call.
It's Paul DeYoung who popped out to second.
You know, number one, to argue that call, you're not in the proximity of the third base umpire. You just made it out at first.
Here's a 1-0. A change up. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's about 10 to 15 miles an hour difference with that fastball and change up tonight. It's a good one. Really sells it. 1-1 pitch. Mentioned that he pitched at Drury, which is located Springfield, Missouri, in the Double-A team of the Cardinals.
It's where the Missouri Hall of Fame is.
Missouri Sports Hall of Fame is there. They do a great job honoring usually a couple of classes a year. And DeYoung hits a high fly ball out to left. Dietrich under it and makes the catch. There's a look at Matt Carpenter last night, home run number 30. More on that. We check in with Jim Hayes.
Yeah, 30 homers for Matt Carpenter in 109 games. Last Cardinal to do that was Albert Pujols in 2011. Carp's power surge has taken some people by surprise, even Matt Carpenter to a certain extent. I asked if when he was struggling in mid-May if he could have ever imagined being at 30 homers at this point. He said no. The stretch I'm in now, I could not have seen coming. Matt points out that even back when he was hitting 140, he was confident he'd get back on track. But he said, I never panicked in May. I knew I would turn it around, just not like this. He says he has no idea where the power surge has come from, but he knows he's having a lot of fun with it, Dan.
Yeah, any time that a pitcher makes a mistake, he's doing damage, no doubt. As Bohr hits it left side, and DeYoung makes the play. That's 6 in a row set down by Gant. Here are the Cardinals' left-handed batters with 30 or more home runs in a season, and it's a who's who Cardinals history. Stan did it 6 times. Cardinal Hall of Famer Ray Lankford a couple of times. Jimmy Edmonds had 42 home runs in 2004, and Matt Carpenter has added his name to that list.
And the record is Johnny Mize, who in 1940 hit 43 home runs. The record for left-handed batters in their home run quest in Cardinal history.
There's Starlin Castro with 1 out. Rolled up the third base line, but foul. Castro grounded into a fielder's choice in a ball the Cardinals could not turn 2 with. And eventually he came around to score. Went from first to third on a base hit by Prado. And then Rojas delivered on a 3-1 pitch, a single that tied the game up at 1-1.
2.5 games here against the Marlins have the Cardinals played. Each team has scored 5 runs apiece. 10 runs total.
A strikeout of Castro, number 3 tonight for Gant. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by the Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer close to home. Try something different like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls, only a Jack in the Box for a limited time. And by Toyota, let's go places. Here's strike 1 to Martin Prado.
And just watching John Gant, I mean, he improvises. He finds a way to do it. Getting an opportunity. Turned 26 2 days ago.
And a grounder that's gloved by Wong. Tough play, and he made it look easy.
Wow. Good play.
7-pitch hitting for John Gant sends us to inning number 5.
The 4th inning, all in one motion. Backhand, easy play, and throwing. We've talked about it many times. He has not let his some of his inadequacies offensively get in the way of his defense.
Most defensive runs saved in Major League Baseball this year. There's Colton Wong, and that's even with limited time. There's Jairo Munoz, double to left back in inning number 2. Here's an 0-1. Nothing at 2.
And familiar changeup.
Had him out in front, pulled foul, and right above the Marlins dugout.
It's familiar with Richards and Rio Muto, but not to the Cardinals. 3 changeups in a row.
And an 0-2. Struck him out. That's strikeout number 5. He's had the Cardinals kind of guessing tonight, hasn't he?
Well, when you throw that many changeups, that 92-mile-an-hour fastball looks like it's 103. Looks like Jordan Hicks out there.
There's Colton Wong, who walked back in inning number 2. Well, it's amazing, isn't it? Some of the stories that you hear in the game of baseball, the perseverance. I mean, you hear it in other sports, but not as much. A story like Trevor Richards, undrafted, Drury, Gateway Grizzlies, and now here he is, the guy that they think is going to be a portion of their rotation going forward. And Wong strikes out. Back-to-back Ks, 6 tonight.
Now what you try to do is approach a hitter like this where you cannot be surprised if he throws the changeup, because that's what he does. He's Miami's version of Kyle Hendricks with the Cubs.
Not a hard thrower. Change up to Garcia.
Notice how many swings and misses he's gotten tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, 2. Another example, though, you don't have to throw 100 miles an hour. You can locate, change speeds to keep hitters off balance, and Richards has done that.
Work fast, throw strikes, change speeds.
Garcia strikes out, and he strikes out the side. 7 tonight. Young man from Drury making him proud. Us at Fox Sports Midwest as we present our annual This One's For You broadcast honoring our armed forces. This year we highlight soldiers from the Missouri National Guard 35th Engineer Brigade in Kuwait. This One's For You, August 15th on Fox Sports Midwest. Tim, you wouldn't believe the letters that I get from those families and those soldiers. You know, maybe a year after that telecast or 2 years, and some have been 5 years. And just how much they appreciate the fact that we do it. They get to see baseball for a night. They reconnect with loved ones and see them at the game. It's a neat night.
Well, they're so appreciative, and so are we.
You bet. The strike to Miguel Rojas. It's now 12 of 16 first pitch strikes for Gant. Oh, 1. Carpenter, foul territory in the catch.
This game has all the makings of a game played underwater. I mean, think about it. You know, both pitchers with good change-ups, a lot of fisted balls, not many balls hit hard.
There's Sierra, lined out to Carpenter back in inning number 2. Fastball catches the upper portion of the zone. Mentioned it in game 1, but this time last year, Sierra wearing that Cardinal uniform and tore up the Marlins. Had a big series.
Set a Cardinal record by hitting in his first 9 at-bats. Actually, not at-bats, but games. Cardinal record.
There's an 0-2 pitch. Mention it how he needs to be efficient, and for the most part he has been.
Yeah.
There's a 1-2 to Sierra. Ground ball left side, short hop.
Play.
Munoz shows off the arm.
Very nice. Tough play, a short hop. Watch him pick it.
Good player, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
The more you watch him, the more you like.
We talked about it last night. He's the most surprising Cardinals, at least in my view, this year. Of course, you may not include Carpenter in that group since May 16th.
You know, there was at one point that Carpenter with a game on the line that Mike Matheny actually pinch hit for him against a lefty, and you understood why.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. There were 2 games in a row where Joe Madden started 4 outfielders, 4 in the outfield, and the other 3 infielders were on the right side of the diamond. It was weird. What a weird experience.
9-pitch inning for Gant. Inning number 6 rolls in. We're tied 1-1. lined up this weekend. Austin Gomber, the lefty, Friday night. Jack Flaherty Saturday. And then on Sunday, it'll be Luke Weaver. That's a look at your Budweiser What's on Tap. All games on Fox Sports Midwest.
Cardinals going to Kansas City.
T-Mobile, built for baseball. And Trevor Richards locked in tonight. Good pitchers duel with John Gant. Gant has retired 11 in a row, and Richards with that changeup, he's got 10 in a row.
By the way, the umpires have been announced for Friday night's game in Kansas City. Don Dinkinger will be the umpire at first base. Thought I'd.
No, sir. You
No.
may laugh. A lot of Cardinal fans are throwing things at their TV.
I did the series. Only kidding. Come on, Dan. There's got to be a time when you forget it.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Nope. This is one of those times with you, Tim. I gotta draw the line. This is it.
Where do you think I was 50 years ago? In Kuwait? I was with the Cardinals.
I know, and you grew up a Cardinals fan.
Well, okay. Well, you know I'm kidding then. When I talk about Don Dinkinger and the umpires being announced for Friday night's game at first base. Don't be so sensitive, pal. Buddy, chief.
Don't pal, chief, buddy me. Hey, pal.
Pal, buddy, chief.
Hey, chief.
Buster.
Yeah, another one. You went right to Mike Schilt and said, "How you doing, Skip?"
I did not. No.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you did.
You will never hear me call a manager Skip.
Skipper?
Skipper.
Drives you crazy.
I had a manager with the Phillies for 3 years back in the early 70s who called himself Skipper. He introduced himself as Skipper Lucchese. Frank Lucchese. I don't like the word skipper.
Next time we're down there, I'm gonna say, "Hey, Mike, hold on a bit. Tim, come on, let's visit with the Skip." Hey, Skipper. Doing it right in front of Mike Schilt.
I won't go. Forget it. You'll be by yourself. This guy's amazing, though. Richards, huh? I mean,
it's a good story.
One change up after another.
2-2. It's two that have gone Gant's way here, and he's worth the count full. Remember, he came in over 18. He's grounded out to short. Out of play. And the bench applauding the effort here for John Gant. A lot of life in that dugout. We've noticed it before games in the clubhouse. Some excitement with this team. The fly ball lifted to right. 11 in a row put away by Brian Anderson. Celebrate the 5th class of the Cardinals Hall of Fame inductees during Hall of Fame weekend, August 17th through the 19th, presented by Edward Jones. And on the 18th, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home a mystery baseball cap. Might be Vince Coleman or Ray Langford. Courtesy of Edward Jones. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. The ball low. That is not the giveaway. Two 2-0 the count on Carpenter. Hit one to the track and struck out. 3-0.
First 3-0 count of the night for Richards.
Well, Richards made the final out, bottom of the 5th. Had to warm up. Faced John Gant, went to a full count on him, and now 3-0 here.
I thought Carpenter would be swinging there, even though he doesn't like to do that. But it might be the only fastball he sees for a strike in this count. Let's see.
3-1, hit out to right. He's done it again! 31 and counting. Carpenter puts the Cardinals on top, and it's a 2-1 St. Louis lead.
He got the changeup. That was the only fastball he saw in the count. He looked for the changeup, got it, and I mean, he smoked it. All his 31 home runs, that might have been the hardest hit. I don't know about the longest. That ball got out of here in a hurry. Had to be sitting on that changeup. Put the Cardinals ahead.
He's got to be in the conversation for MVP. He's got to. I realize the Cardinals are 7+ out in the Central. They're 4 in the wild card, but they keep it close. If somehow they get in, you might be looking at the MVP. He's 2 ahead now of Nolan Arenado. 31 home runs hit by Carpenter.
Certainly, Matt Carpenter has done it more dramatically than anybody in the National League. There is no question about that. Kidding last night, saying that if there was a comeback player of the year in the same year, he'd win it hands down.
Yeah. It's also a new career high in reaching base. That's 27 straight, which currently is the longest streak in baseball for Matt Carpenter. 28 home runs in his last 76 games. His first 35 games, Tim, he was batting 140 with 3 home runs. So over a month, 140, 3 home runs. If you include tonight, his last 75, 339 with 28 home runs.
Man.
3-2 lifted to short. Soft liner caught by Rojas.
Now, Matt Carpenter is not the type of guy who hits prodigious home runs. His slot, however, is right. See that ballpark sign? Right over that ballpark sign to the left. About the first seat, first, second row. But I mean, he hit it a ton. Looked for the changeup, got it. Cardinals up 2-1.
4 of the last 7 hits for the Cardinals in this series have been home runs. Here's Jose Martinez, 0 for 2. A gentleman right there picked up the souvenir, home run number 31. Unbelievable, the run that Carpenter is in right now.
It really is. And a guy who, you talk about sticking with what got you here, that's exactly what he's done all year. Done the same thing the last 3 months that he did the first month and a half. It just didn't work out the first month and a half.
First in homers, first in doubles, first in extra base hits, first in slugging percentage, first in OPS. What a year. There's a walk.
Time to find an ATM? Again? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
Second walk handed out by Trevor Richards.
Juan Nieves, the pitching coach for the Marlins. I don't know why Juan would be out there right now. give up a home run, and then one hitter later you walk someone. Hardly reason for a meeting.
Uh-oh, here we go.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm just saying hardly. No, you see a hitter look bad on a pitch, say flailing. You don't see the hitting coach go out there and meet with the hitter, do you?
I hadn't thought of it in those terms.
Well,
maybe I should.
Perhaps.
Here's Ozuna, 0 for 2. The changeup in there for a strike. Two balls and one strike on Marcell Ozuna. .26 of the 93 in this inning for Trevor Richards.
Funny how Matt Carpenter took that 3-0 fastball, and it was almost like he baited Richards into throwing that changeup. 3-1 the count. Great control of the change. It was a strike, but not for long.
Another changeup there, 3-2. So Matt Carpenter not on the All-Star team, but he might be your MVP. Runner at first, Martinez off with his pitch. 3-2 to Marcell Ozuna. Another changeup. Three-two, hit out to left. Martinez was off with a pitch. It is cut off by Dietrich. Oquendo waving him in. Here's the relay to the plate. He's safe, and Ozuna has given the Cardinals a 2-run lead. It's now 3-1.
That's the advantage of being off at the 3-2 count. Martinez off with the pitch. Gave him a little extra, about 8 to 10 feet. And Ozuna drives in run number 52 on the year. Make that 60. I beg your pardon. Actually a good play by Derek Dietrich, the left fielder, but the relay was a one-hopper to the shortstop, Miguel Rojas. So the Cardinals extend their lead, and that's it for Richards.
Garcia, the lefty, coming on when we come back. Cardinals. John Gant, 5 innings, 2 hits thus far. Carpenter, a solo home run. National League leading, 31st. Richards, 5 2/3. And Rojas, the RBI for the Miami Marlins. Yarlin Garcia, their Chevy called to the pen, did make 6 starts in the rotation for the Marlins, and now it's Paul DeJong. 0 for 2. He's popped out to second, also flied out to left.
We were talking during the break about whether Mike Schilt will remove Jose Martinez from the game after scoring that run to put the Cardinals up 3-1. We'll see. Seems like it's Bader time for the Cardinals.
Really do improve yourself defensively with a huge outfield here.
Yeah, right. Very good point.
Now, if you're down by 2 on the road, different story, but up by 2.
Sure.
Inside to Paul, 2-1.
It's tempting to get him another at bat, but is it worth it when runs have been so precious for the Cardinals? A 2-run lead, almost like a 5-run lead, it seems like.
To me, and Bader's the kind of guy you look at that Martinez can hit you a home run, get you a run. Bader could save you a run or 2.
And hit you one.
Three-1 pitch. Popped up. Justin Bohr in foul territory, now on the line, and makes the catch. Cardinals pick up 2. The first of the 2, Matt Carpenter. Right now he's on another planet. 3-1 St. Louis. Jacob deGrom, a phenomenal year that not many people are talking about because of the lack of team success for the Mets.
He had lost 3 straight games going into that game, and losing 3 straight with an earned run average of 1.18 in those 3 games. Martinez still in the game. We speculated, thinking that perhaps Mike Schilt would make a move, put Harrison Bader in there. But not so. Thing about it is, in baseball, not all decisions are the same. Yeah, I mean, you don't say this is an ironclad rule. You got to remove Martinez from the lineup right here because of his defense. It's not ironclad one way or the other, I don't think.
Top of the lineup and a 1-2 pitch. A strikeout for Gant. 12 in a row, and that's 4 strikeouts. BJC Healthcare difference maker thus far has been one of them, at least. John Gant, the pitcher, starter tonight for St. Louis. Ran into issues in the second inning, but outside of that, he's been outstanding. He's had 4 1-2-3 innings.
4 out of 5, not too shabby.
Brian Anderson 0 for 2, grounded to short and fly to center. Third-round pick out of Arkansas in 2014. Marlins feel this young man can really help in the rebuild. We've seen him over a limited amount of time, but you get the idea. He's a pretty good player.
Rookie of the Year material. We've talked about that the first 2 games of the series.
Lifts a high fly ball into center. Adolis Garcia. Well, we have a moment. Happy birthday to front office colleagues Justin Meyer and Jamie Brickler.
All right.
Been with the Cardinals a long time. Happy birthday to Justin and Jamie. JT Realmuto 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Two outs and nobody on. And that's popped up. Molina calling for it. He's got it. 14 in a row and an 8-pitch inning for John Gant. Sends us to the 7th. '17th through the 19th, presented by Edward Jones. We have a Desi Dean watch giveaway. That's Sunday, August 19th. Courtesy of AT&T. Cardinals.com/promotions. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. What a shot there on the kiss cam.
That was great. And the saying down here in Miami is just getting started. Just getting started. And there was an elderly couple.
Don't go there.
No kissing. On the kiss cam.
Yeah.
What's wrong? What do you mean, don't go there? What are you, censoring my remarks now?
Well, I wasn't sure where you're
going.
going.
There. Well, I mean, who do you think you're dealing with? Some vagabond just came in off the street?
I've told you.
Told me what?
We're very happy with you and your internship. But, you know, just making sure things are going in the right direction.
Don't go there. Just an elderly couple kissing. That's all.
About a combined age of 178. The crowd was into it too.
They were.
Oh boy.
It was fun. Vicarious fun, Danny. That's why we go to the movies.
Is that right?
Well, one of the reasons.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
1-2 the count on Munoz, who's doubled and struck out. I don't see you again. I was just thinking about this. I don't see you again until we are in Detroit, I believe.
Detroit on September 7th. Yep.
I got a feeling that that might not be a very comfortable weekend for you, and I mean this sincerely. There's a strikeout of Munoz.
Yeah, you're right.
They'll be celebrating the 50th anniversary of the championship team that beat the '68 Cardinals. And you've told me many times.
I haven't forgotten it.
And you don't get over it.
And neither is Bob, and neither is Lefty, and neither is the other Cardinals. Still putting the pedal to the metal. It's tough. Stays with you a long time.
That's up the middle, and a base hit for Colton Wong against a lefty.
Bob Costas asked me once in an interview about, he said, it was great, the '64 World Series, the '67 World Series, but if you win in '68, then you have a mini dynasty of sorts.
Sure.
And I've thought about that long and hard, and he's right. I answered it telling him he was right, but there's nothing you can do, and here it is 50 years later. Yeah, you know, Fox wanted me to go to Detroit because of that, for Fox Detroit, and I said, of course, be happy to. Then I thought about it, and I said, I'm gonna have to answer all those questions about why we didn't win in '68. There's a little harshness to that.
I bet.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's you picked up on that very well. Thank you.
Adolis Garcia at the plate, and then Gant's spot. They've got Jerko at the on-deck circle. 63 pitches for Gant, and a right-hander throwing in the Cardinal pen. Gant, by the way, has retired 14 in a row.
Garcia with a chance now on a 2-0 count to get a predictable pitch. Look for a fastball and whack it.
Inside, 3-0. Dakota Hudson, the right-hander, chasing Shreve, the lefty. Back in safely, Colton Wong.
Boy, that was almost a balk by Garcia. Can't deceive the runner.
And Garcia pops it up. Foul territory. And the catch is made by Starlin Castro. And Adolis Garcia over 3 tonight. So that will be it for John Gant. Cardinals will pinch hit here with Jed Jerko. Gant, a guy that doesn't go very deep into games. A rested bullpen, day off tomorrow. I'm sure that's part of the thinking here with Mike Schilt.
Yeah, I think everybody fully loaded down in the bullpen, with the possible exception of Bud Norris. Maybe saved the game last night. Maybe Jordan Hicks will have a chance to get a rare save.
Interesting, though, low pitch count, 14 in a row, but again, a guy that does not go very deep into games in John Gant.
And it's a chance also to use Jed Jerko as a pinch hitter against a left-handed pitcher.
Sure.
Who throws hard.
Cardinals love Jed against lefties and done a lot of damage 2+ years against left-handed pitching. That's the one great thing about, you know, dealing with Mike Schilt. You can go in and ask him, why'd you do this? And, and you'll get a good answer, whether you agree with it or not, but it's a well thought out answer.
Exactly right.
One ball and 2 strikes. Justin Bohr is due up along with Castro and Prado. Jerko hits it sharply to third. It's a double play ball. Rather, they force play at second. And Jerko is retired. So, Bohr, Castro, Prado coming up, and it's a 3-1 game. Time to stretch. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can.
John Gant has just been terrific all night. He retired the Marlins in order 5 of the 6 innings that he faced them. And I think this is the right move. I really do. Dan, we were discussing it during the break. One thing you do is you get Shreve, the left-hander, to pitch to Justin Bohr, the dangerous left-handed hitter for the Marlins. And then you have the option of going to the right-hander in the bullpen. Again, a well-rested bullpen for Mike Schilt.
Bohr's had a lot of issues over his career with left-handed pitching.
Right.
Gant 6 innings, a run on 2 hits, struck out 4, walked 1, set down the final 14 he saw. A ball and a strike. this remade bullpen of the Cardinals. And it happened in a hurry.
Overnight. Shreve dropping down just a wee bit. Good slider out of the strike zone, but very effective.
Got him. Strikeout to start inning number 7, the bottom half for the Marlins.
Another slider. Shreve does his job. Good work.
Dakota Hudson coming on. Shreve gets his man, Justin Bohr. 3-1 here in the bottom of the 7th, 1 out. App and you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets up until the first pitch or sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. StubHub, an official partner of your St. Louis Cardinals. Dakota Hudson had a scoreless inning last night. Opponents only hitting .087 against him in his 5 games. It's 7 innings. Big sinker and a weapon.
He has been excellent. He's faced 24 hitters. They have 2 hits and 1 walk. So he's retired 21 out of 24 in his 7 innings of work.
It's a rarity. A ball gets to the backstop and on deck man and the bat boy didn't go get it. It was Yadier Molina that went and got it. 1 ball and 1 strike on Starlin Castro.
Yadi through all catching all those games and the honorary bat boy here in Marlins Field. Was odd.
2 balls and 1 strike on Castro. Grounded into a fielder's choice and scored back in the 2nd. Struck out swinging in the 4th. Breaks his bat. Ground ball to short. Out number 2.
What is noticeable about the young Cardinal pitchers, the right-handers love to come inside. Jack Flaherty loves to do that, telling us that, yeah, he plans to do more of it too. Good pitch by Hudson. That sinker just bearing in on on Castro.
Martin Prado is 1 for 2. Ball low. Single to left center on a 3-1 pitch to drive in Castro in the second inning. Cal Barraclaw, who has been removed as the closer for Miami, starts to throw. It's been a rough go for him. Barraclaw 12 runs allowed in his last 6 appearances.
Wow. That's a free fall right there.
2-1 pitch. To your point, you don't know about Norris. You could extend potentially Hudson one more inning, and then Jordan Hicks would be your 9th inning man.
Sure. A lot of ways to go with the rested bullpen.
2-2. Ground ball. Taken by DeYoung. Nice play.
Good play because Jairo Munoz almost got in the way then.
Coming up, the National League leader in homers. He's done it again tonight. Matt Carpenter's coming up. Ray Langford, Harry McKean, Vince Coleman, Cardinals.com/HOF, presented by Edward Jones. A reminder that day early, Willie McGee signing autographs. Then the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and the Brewers will be in town that night. So Kyle Barraclaw, new pitcher for Miami, 51st appearance. They had a rough 9th inning in game 1. Don Mattingly removing him from the closer's spot. 51st appearance this year.
After he did that, 2 pitches later, Yadier Molina grounded to a double play with the bases loaded and 1 out, and the Cardinals lose game 1, but have rebounded in game 2 and lead in this game. As far as National League pitchers are concerned, other than the ones with the Cardinals, this is the devil of the National League hitting right now.
He doesn't chase pitches out of the zone.
No.
If you make a mistake, he punishes it. If you give him a strike, he punishes it. And Carpenter with a fly ball into left center. Sierra with the catch. 1 for 4 on the night with a solo home run back in inning number 6. One down, and here's Molina. He homered back in the first inning. He's lined out and also hit a soft liner. I learned something tonight. I learned many things from you. I do.
What?
I learned not to censor you.
Yeah, well.
You can't do that. No matter what. Do a lot of things, can't censor you. I said, now hold on. You didn't like that.
Okay, come on. Come on, Danny. It's a good boy. Good boy.
Not your pet either.
That was good.
But I will not do that again. So if you go down a road that I think might be a little touchy.
Don't you remember that line in Young Frankenstein when he said, no matter what I do, don't open that door? And then he went in and he said, hi, handsome.
The 2-1 out of play, and it's 2-2.
Such a good boy.
So I don't see you till Detroit, huh?
Right. I'll be busy then, Dan.
Sure.
Probably doing interviews that I do not want to do.
I get it.
But I'll try to be gracious.
Ooh,
oh boy. Ow.
Yachty's hit with the pitch. The 2-2.
I think it got some of that padding on the left elbow. We'll take another look at it. That one of those fastballs that just stick in there. No, it was a little higher than that.
Jose Martinez with one out and a runner at first. Walked and scored back in the 6th inning. Back to your question before, do you take Martinez out? This plate appearance, now you think about it for sure.
Absolutely. Right. Put Bader in as a pinch runner, and if Jose gets on. Still only a 2-run ball game, so.
A ball and a strike. Oh boy, Molina picked off. The second runner picked off for the Cardinals tonight, trying to get an early jump.
Well, if it was the hit and run, you can't get picked off on a hit and run, because whether you get a good jump or not is not the issue. The issue is whether the hitter makes contact or not, preferably on the ground.
Good slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Out to shallow center, or rather right field, and a base hit. Well, he talked that ball into being a base hit.
Sometimes you gotta talk to it. Bader obviously given the green light. Anytime he feels like he gets a jump, he can go. But again, we mentioned it last night. Pinch running is very difficult because often when you come in the game, you're not loose.
He's loose.
So much for that theory.
Yeah, that's to the backstop, and a stolen base for Bader. Dove in head first to the bag and looked like the dirt grabbed him.
Well, that's a problem. When you're pinch running, you're not loose. And it looked like he hurt something.
Watch it. It looks like the dirt just grabs him here. Not much of a slide. And
well, that head first slide.
oh,
It's like his right wrist or one of his wrists. We talked about it before it happened. You know, you're just not loose. And there's no way, there's no place in the dugout to get loose. You do a little stretching from the waist, stuff like that. Now the Cardinals are hoping, are wishing that Martinez didn't get a hit. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Instead of the hands being spread out in front, they stopped. And I think, like the dirt grabbed him, I think that's the best expression, Dan.
And he is cut. I did see a little blood on the towel.
Or that head first slide. You hate for that to be an issue when there was no play on him.
I think the cut may have been, at least he's smiling, but above the right eye. Certainly wasn't one of the prettiest slides we've ever seen.
No. That was one situation where you would have hoped that Harrison would have curbed his enthusiasm. No pun intended. Larry David show. Looks like he's got a butterfly right there. So much damage can happen on that head first slide. We've talked about it many, many times.
It might have been the helmet coming up and hitting him.
There are just a lot more ways to get hurt when you slide head first.
See here if it's the helmet. I thought it may have gotten him there and just sliced him above the eye. Watch the helmet.
Yeah, probably. You think about your wrists, your fingers are your business partners. Your shoulders. That's why that straight slide, that stand-up slide where the bag pushes you up, and that's always feet first. The safest slide, and to me the best. Prevents more injuries, but that winsome smile of Harrison Bader, contagious.
The pitch was a ball to the backstop. An intentional walk of Ozuna here to get to Paul DeJong. So the ball went to the backstop. It was a stolen base for Bader. Now the intentional walk to Marcell Ozuna. And 2 runners on for Paul DeJong. DeYoung is 0 for 3. First pitch taken high. The slider catches the outside corner. Room on the right side of the infield. The 1-1. Hit down the left field line. Fair into the corner. DeYoung makes him pay. Bader will score. Here comes Ozuna. Paul DeYoung delivers after the intentional pass in front of him.
First 3 at bats. As Mick Jagger would say, I ain't got no satisfaction, but he's satisfied with this. Hanging curveball. About 4 feet fair down the left field line, scoring easily. It's Bader, and Ozuna right behind him.
Boy, that was a hanger.
That was a real hanger right there, and Bader appears to be okay.
DeYoung, a big hit last night to tie the game up with a 2-run homer, and now has advanced the Cardinal lead with a 2-run double. 0-1 pitch. 0-2 to Munoz. And this being done with 2 outs in the inning after Molina was picked off. And the soft liner into right field off the bat of Martinez. Bader came in to pinch run, stole second. Intentional pass of Ozuna to bring up DeYoung.
Yeah, that 2-out hit by Martinez looked like kind of eyewash for the Cardinals, but the Bader stolen base, then the intentional walk, and the hanging breaking ball.
And a grounder hit to short. Rojas makes the play. Cardinals with 2 more here in the 8th, and they've opened up a 5-1 lead on this hanger to Paul DeYoung. For the Cardinals, Harrison Bader stays in the ball game in center. And still pitching for St. Louis, Dakota Hudson. We're in the bottom of the 8th, and it's 5-1. Hudson got the final 2 outs in the home half of the 7th. There's a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. Miguel Rojas. He's alone to run and batted in tonight for Miami. 5-1 our score. Cardinal pitching has retired 17 in a row. There's Bader, make it 18. John Gant, 6 innings tonight. 1 run on 2 hits, struck out 4. Shreve came in. Got the first man and only man that he saw, Justin Bohr. Hudson got a pair of groundouts, Castro and Prado, and has gotten the first man, Rojas, and now Sierra.
And just another gutty performance by John Gant, too. Finding a way to get guys out.
Cardinals 5 outs away from making it 2 of 3 here in Miami and winning another series, which would be 4 in a row.
What the Cardinals have found the last month, a resurgence of hope. More confidence, better base running, better defense, and much better pitching from the youngsters.
Oh, what a play. DeYoung to his left and robs Sierra.
And that.
What a play.
Before you talk about all that other stuff, you got to have talent. It takes a lot of talent to do what he just did.
Great play. That's now 19 in a row set down by Cardinal pitching.
Marlins have only had 3 base runners. That was the 2nd inning when they scored their run.
They had a walk and 2 hits in that inning. Every other inning, it's gone 1, 2, 3. JT Riddle at the plate, batting .223. Into center, Bader. Hudson, nice work to get 5 outs. Sends us to the 9th. 5-1 St. Louis. 5-1 Cardinals game 3 of this series. Home runs hit tonight by St. Louis. Our Budweiser plays of the game, Yadier Molina. He was back in the first inning. Matt Carpenter did it again. Another home run. That was in the 6th.
You said that before.
It's unbelievable the year he's putting together. Chevy called to the pen. Brett Graves, 8th appearance. Cardinals have Colton Wong coming up. Wong has walked, struck out, and also singled. Did that against a lefty. $7,306 tonight.
About the same crowd as last night, and on Monday there were 9,000, about 9,400 here. Rugged time in Miami to draw folks.
Two and two. Hit the other way by Colton Wong and inside the third base line, and hustling to second base in with a double.
Going the other way. Good fastball away, and this ball looked like it was going foul. Stayed fair, and Wong has double, number 12 on the year.
On base for the third time, a 2-hit night. This will be Adolis Garcia over 3 with a pair of strikeouts. Major league debut. Jordan Hicks throwing in the Cardinal pen.
I think the reason that Mike Schilt's going to Hicks is he has not appeared in this series. Even though it's not a save situation here.
Balls and a strike. Garcia struck out his first 2 plate appearances. Popped out to first and 0 for 3. That's hit to short. Brett Graves, by the way, attended Francis Howell High School just outside St. Louis, Missouri. He was the All-Metro Player of the Year, Gatorade Player of the Year for Missouri in 2011. Cardinals actually selected him in the 26th round in 2011. Did not sign, went to the University of Missouri, and had an outstanding career with the Tigers. Braves was picked up by the Marlins. Rule 5 pick from the A's.
They have several Rule 5 picks on their pitching staff and their team. About 4, in fact.
Oh, and 2 the count. Greg Garcia. Here's an 0-2. And a swing and a miss. Month by month, a look at Matt Carpenter. The batting average. And the home runs.
From the warehouse to the penthouse.
281 now, and they'll intentionally walk Carpenter. Even the Marlins fans are booing. But I'd have to say the majority of the fans here are probably Cardinal fans.
Every night it's been about half and half. A lot of red in the stands.
So 2 outs and 2 on. Here's Molina. That's ball 1. Runners at first and second, 5-1 our score. So we play in the top of the 9th. Serves it out to right. It's well hit into the corner, and it's down. 1 run is in, and here comes another. That makes it a 7-1 St. Louis lead.
Good hitting. The pitch was away. Yachty went with the pitch away. Carpenter scores all the way from first base. Brian Anderson, the right fielder, slamming into the fence after that effort to catch the ball. And Yachty has RBIs number 50 and 51 on the year. Make that 51 and 52. '51. '51 RBIs for Yachty.
Got it.
Sometimes your ex-jock comes out in you. What are you going to do?
He hit the home run that made it 49, and then 2 on that play, 50 and 51.
You don't have to go over it.
Well, I'm not. I'm just laying it out there.
I know it. Only kidding. Players refer to this as a laugher when you're 6 runs up in the top of the 9th, especially on getaway day.
With an off day tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's what you call a happy flight, more than likely.
Well, they played well enough to certainly deserve it, I'll tell you. If they hold on to this 6-run lead, it will be 4 series in a row won by the Redbirds.
Of the 9 have gone for extra bases, 5 doubles, 2 home runs. Chevy called to the pen, and Mike Myers. And as Hungo said, that's 20 in a row set down by Cardinal pitching tonight. Again, the off day tomorrow, then we're in Kansas City on Friday night. Austin Gomber. There's a strike to Derek Dietrich, top of the lineup here for the Miami Marlins. Dietrich, Anderson, Realmuto. 0-1. Well, you went 4 series in a row, and there's a different feeling around the club.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, things are starting to turn a little bit. The Cardinals hold on. They'll go to 5 games above the 500 mark. And where would the club be without the resurgent Matt Carpenter? A 1-2 pitch.
You know, looking back over these last 4 series, those 2 straight wins against the Cubs. And then the Cubs won on Sunday night, but those 2 wins against the Cubs gave them a little leap forward. A wee leap, but you know.
They also had the 2 walk-offs and winning 3 of 4 against a very good Colorado team.
Yeah, boy. Oh, yeah.
That was big. And the 2 games that they've lost on this trip very well could have gone their way.
Sure.
There's John Gant right there in the middle. Anderson at the plate. 4-1.
Talk about confidence, especially in the bullpen. I don't think anybody's pitching with more confidence than Mike Myers now. I think he's allowing it to let go of that fastball, getting great results, overpowering results.
Mike Schilt has used him in higher leverage situations too.
Yeah.
Now this one being a 6-run lead in the ninth, a different story. And the 1-2. June 28th, a game that Myers hit 98 on the gun, then later hit 100. We've seen him since that time, the high velocity. Prior to that, he had been right around 95, 96, but you get to 98, you're bringing it.
Well, we talked about our key to the game earlier. September is now. And the Cardinals have certainly played with urgency in this ball game.
Left field, and that ball will drop and goes to the wall. Anderson to second base with a 1-out double.
.98-mile-an-hour fastball, but right down the pipe. Anderson's first hit of the ball game.
Here's JT Realmuto. Ends the streak of 21 in a row set down by Cardinal pitching. Realmuto is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
It's a play that's designed only for the 9th inning. It used to be that, you know, if you're a runner on a second base, you're trailing by 6 in the 9th inning, you'd make the ball go through to the outfield, or the ball hit on the right side, you'd advance. The ball's hit back to the pitcher, getting a run down if you're the runner at second base, because by doing that you could get the pitcher involved in the play, and getting the pitcher involved in the play, because the pitcher, if the ball's hit back to the pitcher, he's going to throw the ball to first base. If that's the case, you end up at third. But if you're getting a run down and get a pitcher involved, it's just an extra way to keep the game going if you're trailing by a lot in the ninth. Like there, go to third. Force the tougher play, because if you're a shortstop, you're going to first. See, he retreated right away. And there are some, the Mets are one, that have inculcated that into their minor league system and in their way of playing the game. Of course, now there are 2 outs, but if you're on base in a blowout, for instance, make them make the tougher play.
Moore rounding to second. This will do it. Cardinals take game 3 by the final of 7-1. They're now 5 games above the 500 mark and take 2 of 3 here in Miami. Things are looking up for St. Louis. All around a solid series win. 9 hits tonight, 7 go for extra bases. Pitching outstanding. Post-game show comes your way next.